Good morning, sunshine, evening moonlight, wherever you're at. This is Charlie.
Philosophers with pens in hand, questions deep, ain't life grand.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the giant megalith in the desert. Have you ever looked at the pyramids and thought, yep, we definitely didn't build that with sticks and stones? Meanwhile, here I am struggling to put my IKEA furniture together. But seriously, what if we're not the first go-around for advanced civilizations on this planet? My guess is we're probably the rerun, and the original show was by far better. Could there have been an ancient civilization more advanced than us? And if so, how did they manage to screw it all up so badly that we're still finding their leftovers? Let's get into this before the aliens do.
Unravel thoughts like oppress, laid awake in our best, wonder wild, feel alive, consciousness to revive, nobody cares about the chicken.
Imagine walking through a landscape that looks nothing like the world we know today. A time when mammoth herds roamed, glaciers were retreating, and humanity was about to undergo its most dramatic transformation since evolving from our early ancestors. We're plummeting into a period that's less a timeline and more of a detective story, where every piece of evidence is a clue and the mystery spans tens of thousands of years.
Find new ways till we die.
Around 12,800 years ago, something extraordinary happened. Apparently, the planet was warming up after the last ice age, and then boom, everything froze again. Literally. The Younger Dryas wasn't just a minor climate hiccup, it was a planetary temper tantrum. Temperatures in the northern hemisphere plummeted by up to 10 degrees Celsius in just a decade. Imagine your summer turning into an Arctic winter overnight. That's not climate change, honey. That is climate whiplash. Recent research suggests this rapid cooling might have been triggered by a comet impact. So picture a massive celestial object smashing into the North American ice sheet, creating a global dust cloud that blocked sunlight and dramatically altered Earth's climate.
Ciao, ciao.
Between 14,600 and 11,700 years ago, our planet experienced what geologists call meltwater pulse 1A. It's a period of sea level rise that makes modern climate predictions look a little bit gentler. You see, sea levels rose approximately 16 meters in just 400 years. So to put that into perspective, it's kind of like adding 2 entire Statues of Liberty to the ocean's height every century. Therefore, coastal cities were completely submerged. Any evidence? Well, that's kind of vanished now. Here's where it gets interesting. The Denisovins weren't just another human subspecies. They might have been the unsung geniuses of the prehistoric world. Genetic studies reveal they had larger brain volumes than modern humans and possessed unique genetic adaptation. A 2018 study in Cell showed Denisovins had genetic variations related to neurological development that we're still trying to understand. Imagine a society of humans with potentially enhanced cognitive abilities, living in a world we can barely comprehend. They're not just survivors, but potentially innovators operating on a level we're only beginning to grasp. So move over, Silicon Valley, because the real tech revolution might have happened 50,000 years ago, and we kind of missed the launch party. What if the gaps in our understanding aren't gaps at all, but deliberately obscured chapters of human potential? What if the line between myth and history is blurrier than our textbooks suggest? As we stand on the shoulders of what we know, the shadows of what we've forgotten kind of whisper weird questions. In those whispers might lie the most extraordinary story never told. Let's play a mind game. Imagine you're an archaeologist with a time machine, and every stone you touch tells a story that makes your modern scientific understanding short circuit. So, thanks to the monuments that we have today, they're whispering some of their secrets. And one of them would be the Great Pyramids of Giza. The pyramid is aligned to true north with a deviation of just 0.67 degrees. For context, modern buildings with all our lasers and GPS tech often don't hit that level of precision. Ancient Egyptians didn't have compasses or Google Maps, yet they somehow pulled this off? Like how?
I just don't get it.
So, the predictions are they likely used the stars, specifically the North Star at the time, Thuban, in the constellation Draco, as a reference. And by tracking the motion of stars over time, a process called precession, they figured out true north with mind-boggling accuracy. The pyramid's alignment to true north remained the most accurate structure on Earth for 4,000 years, until modern observatories finally surpassed it. That's beyond engineering genius. The pyramid's sides are aligned so precisely that they correspond to Orion's belt. This wasn't just an aesthetic choice. In ancient Egyptian culture, Orion was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. By aligning their greatest monument with the stars, they were essentially creating a celestial highway for their pharaohs to ascend to the heavens. Oh, wow! But here's where it gets wild. The layout of the pyramid at Giza mirrors the exact positioning of 3 stars in Orion's belt, including the slight offset of the 3rd star. So this alignment was achieved through astronomical calculations that were so advanced it implies inherited knowledge, either from an earlier, more advanced civilization or some serious ancient stargazing skills.
Oh, did you see that?
Also, what's not so talked about are the shafts within the pyramid, which point directly to specific stars. The northern shaft aligns with Thuban, the pole star of the time, but the southern shaft points to Alnitak, the brightest star in Orion's belt. So not only did they build massive monument, but they essentially turned it into a star map. How's that for multitasking? Now, they go on to talk about the water erosion theory, where it became a bit of a game changer. Dr. Robert Schoch, seriously, could you get a better name than that? He's a geologist from Boston University, examined the Great Sphinx, which sits near the pyramids, and discovered patterns of water erosion on its body. Now, here's why it matters. Egypt's climate has been arid for the last 5,000 years, meaning the kind of rainfall required to cause such erosion hasn't existed in the region since roughly 10,000 BCE. So this suggests that both the Sphinx and possibly the Great Pyramid could date back to much older era, potentially 12,000 years ago, during a time when the area experienced significant rainfall. If Schoch's theory is correct, it would mean the pyramids weren't just built by the Egyptians we know from history books, but by a far older civilization whose knowledge somehow filtered down to later cultures. And the pyramid isn't just aligned with the stars, it also encodes information about Earth itself. Its base perimeter, the distance around its 4 sides, divided by its height, gives a number almost exactly equal to 2 pi. Okay, what does that mean? This means they incorporated one of the most fundamental mathematical constants into their design, thousands of years before we officially discovered it.
Huh?
Its dimensions also reflect the size of Earth. If you take the pyramid's height and multiply it by 43,200, you get the polar radius of Earth. If you take its base perimeter and multiply it by the same factor, you get the planet's equatorial circumference. So, how could they have possibly known Earth's size? Either they had a far greater scientific knowledge than we give them credit for, or they inherited this information from an earlier advanced culture.
I am the Lord your God, and you are meant to worship me.
The Great Pyramid contains over 2.3 million limestones and granite blocks, each weighing between 2 to 80 tons. Some granite blocks in the king's chamber were quarried from Aswan, which was located 500 miles away. So how did they transport these blocks? No one knows for sure, but some theories include massive sleds lubricated with water to reduce friction, advanced knowledge of levers, ramps, and pulleys, and if you're into the fun theories, maybe some lost technology like sound wave levitation. Whatever the method, the logistics of this project would make modern engineers break out into serious cold sweat. Now, the Great Pyramid was originally covered in polished white Tura limestone, which reflected sunlight so brightly it would have looked like a glowing beacon. Its capstone is missing today, but if it were made of gold, as some speculated, the pyramid would have been visible for miles, like a giant signal to the gods, or maybe to extraterrestrials. I'm just saying. Like, what in a world? All right. If the pyramids didn't convince you, let's move to Göbekli Tepe, the site that actually rewrote history. Located in modern-day Turkey, it is the archaeological equivalent of finding an iPhone in a Stone Age campsite. Constructed around 9600 BCE, before agriculture, before pottery, before everything we thought we knew. This site features massive T-shaped stone pillars weighing up to 10 tons, intricate carvings showing astronomical and zoological knowledge, and a level of cultural organization that shouldn't exist for at least another 600 years. Klaus Schmidt, the archaeologist who first excavated the site, called it a temple complex that radically changes our understanding of human prehistory. I mean, imagine a world where primitive cultures separated by thousands of miles and zero communication capabilities somehow constructed monuments with laser-like precision, understood complex astronomical alignments, and used construction techniques we struggle to replicate today.
I'm Batman.
Then you've got the Stonehenge in England, which is aligned with the solar and lunar movements with such precision that it functions as a sophisticated astronomical calendar. Another fascinating example is the Baalbeck in Lebanon. It is home to one of the most incredible engineering mysteries in history, the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, a massive block of limestone weighing an estimated 1,650 tons. Yes, you heard that right, tons. Let me give you a perspective. That is 4 fully loaded Boeing 747 airplanes stacked together. Yeah? So this ancient site, part of the Roman temple complex dedicated to Jupiter, features stones so colossal that even our largest modern cranes would struggle to move them. The precision with which these megaliths were cut, transported, and placed raises endless questions. Some stones were quarried nearly a mile away, and yet they were positioned with such accuracy that even a sheet of paper couldn't fit between them.
Really?
Eastern Island's Maui, known as Rapa Nui, is a remote volcanic island in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, kind of a bit off of west of Chile. It's one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth, yet it's home to nearly 900 Maui, massive stone statues. These statues, some towering over 30 feet tall and weighing up to 82 tons, were moved miles across the island and positioned again with mathematical precision, often facing inward toward the villages, symbolizing protection and ancestral guidance. What if these weren't just monuments, but actually messages, encoded knowledge waiting for us to decode? Imagine standing at the center of Teotihuacan, the city of the gods located in Mexico, as the first rays of sunrise align perfectly with the Pyramid of the Sun. That wasn't architecture. This is a planetary conversation written in stone. This Mexican marvel isn't just a city. It's a massive astronomical computer built centuries before modern science. The entire complex is mathematically aligned to celestial movements with such precision that it makes modern GPS look like child's play. The Avenue of the Dead perfectly aligns with the Pleiades constellation. This alignment was deliberate, suggesting these primitive people understood complex astronomical cycles we're only beginning to understand. Machu Picchu, perched 8,000 feet above sea level. This Incan marvel is a celestial observatory disguised as a mountain citadel. The Intihuatana stone, often called the hitching post of the sun, acts as a sophisticated solar calendar, tracking solstices and equinoxes with amazing accuracy. Then there's the Chichen Itza. The El Castillo pyramid is nothing short of another astronomical genius. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, sunlight creates a serpent-like shadow that appears to descend the pyramid's steps. Then we've got artifacts that defy historical understanding. And remember, guys, this is information we know. The public knows. Imagine what's still hidden out there. The Antikythera mechanism is the first computer found in a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera. This device is the Leonardo da Vinci of ancient technology, dating back to 100 BCE. It's an analog computer that could predict astronomical positions, calculate Olympic game dates, and track planetary movements. This device had differential gears, a technology we thought wasn't invented until the 16th century. So imagine finding an iPhone in a medieval monastery. Then there's the Piri Reis map, created in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis. This map does something impossible. It shows the coastline of Antarctica without ice. Remember, and if you're watching the news, official discovery of Antarctica happened in 1818, and comprehensive mapping came centuries later. So cartography experts are still confused. How did a 16th century map maker know the continental shelf hidden beneath miles of ice? What if we move on to ancient texts, like the Vedas? These ancient Sanskrit texts aren't just religious documents, they're potentially technological archives. References to Vimanas, the flying machines, describe aerial vehicles with capabilities that sound suspiciously like modern aircraft. Descriptions of complex propulsion systems, accounts of interplanetary travel, detailed technical specifications that read like engineering blueprints. And then you've got the Sumerian cuneiform. These clay tablets reveal mathematical knowledge that shouldn't exist in 3000 BCE. So what if these aren't just ancient texts, but preserved technological manuals from a civilization we've completely forgotten? So I want you to imagine your DNA as a complex library of human history. Each gene, a dusty tome containing stories of migrations, encounters, and genetic mysteries that challenge everything we thought we knew about human evolution. The Denisovins aren't just another branch on our evolutionary tree. Discovered only in 2010 from a single finger bone in Siberian cave, these mysterious humans represent a confusing chapter of our genetic story that most textbooks still haven't acknowledged. When Homo sapiens encountered Denisovins, something extraordinary happened. Instead of competing, they interbred, creating genetic cocktails that gave their hybrid offspring remarkable advantages.
I'm sorry, what?
Now take the Tibetan population, for instance. Scientists discovered that their remarkable ability to survive at high altitudes where oxygen is scarce comes directly from Denisovin genetic adaptations. A specific gene variant allows Tibetans to process oxygen more efficiently, a genetic gift from these mysterious ancient humans. It's kind of like discovering your great-great-great-grandparents secretly passed down a superpower.
What the hell are you talking about?
If only they could see my allergies now. But the genetic mysteries go deeper. In Papua New Guinea, up to 5% of the indigenous population's genome contains Denisovin DNA. These aren't just small genetic traces. We're talking about significant genetic contributions that potentially enhance human cognitive and psychological capabilities. Anthropological evidence suggests that these interactions weren't rare accidents, but potentially sophisticated cultural exchanges. The Denisovans might have possessed larger brain volumes than modern humans, with unique genetic variations related to neurological development that we're still struggling to comprehend. So what if these genetic interactions weren't just random encounters, but deliberate attempts at genetic enhancement? What if our ancestors were engaged in a form of prehistoric genetic engineering, trading not just tools and resources, but actual genetic material that could improve survival capabilities?
In fields of green without a sound, feathers fall, they hit the ground.
The implications are huge. Our view of human evolution transforms from a linear progression to a complex, interconnected web of genetic exchanges. We're not just descendants of a single lineage, but a genetic mosaic, a living, breathing testament to the incredible complexity of human development.
The rain. Are they running to or running from the cosmic dance? It has begun.
Modern geneticists are like detectives, slowly unraveling a mystery written in our very DNA. Each new discovery doesn't just add a chapter to our understanding, it rewrites the entire book of human history. I want you to close your eyes and just imagine a civilization so advanced, yet so fundamentally different from our own, that our modern conception of technology feels like Hoop. We're not talking about silicon chips and quantum computing, but a deep understanding of the universe that integrates consciousness, energy, and natural systems in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. Anthropological evidence hints at a robust physicality that balanced intellectual sophistication with extraordinary physical resilience. These were humans who could potentially survive extreme environmental conditions that allowed them to thrive where others would perish. Their bodies weren't just survival machines. They were living technologies, adaptable and responsive in ways our current human form can barely imagine. Their spirituality wasn't a separate practice. It was a fundamental way of perceiving reality. Unlike our compartmentalized understanding of science, spirituality, and culture, they saw these as interconnected systems. Celestial cycles weren't just astronomical events. They were living narratives that humans participated in, not merely observed. And to be honest, this gives me a lot of hope.
Aww, so cute.
Now here's where speculation becomes woozy. What if their technology wasn't about mechanical manipulation, but energy manipulation? Recent quantum physics research suggests that consciousness itself might be a form of energy that can interact with physical matter. These ancient societies might have understood sound, vibration, and energetic frequencies as actual construction and communication tools. Think about the Acropolis or the Baalbeck's massive stone pillars. What if they weren't just moved, but somehow resonantly tuned into place using vibrational technologies? What if sound itself was their primary engineering mechanism? Their philosophy wasn't about human supremacy, but cosmic participation. Knowledge wasn't something to be possessed, but to be experienced and transmitted through living systems. Oral traditions, symbolic representations, and possibly even genetic memory. Harmony with universal cycles meant understanding that humans weren't separate from nature, but a dynamic, interactive component of a larger living system. The most revolutionary aspect? They might have seen the universe not as a collection of separate objects, but as a living, breathing, interconnected organism, with humans as one of many conscious participants. Imagine Earth as a storyteller with most of its pages ripped out. I mean, that's the challenge facing researchers trying to understand our planet's human history. What if the most incredible chapters are the ones we've lost? Our planet went through a dramatic mood swing. The Younger Dryas period was like Earth suddenly deciding to hit the reset button. Temperatures plummeted, glaciers expanded, and entire landscapes transformed overnight. So now picture a world where coastlines you know today were completely different. Entire coastal civilizations, if they existed, would have been swallowed by rising waters, their stories erased like footprints in the sand. Think about how fragile human achievements really are. Wood rots, paper disintegrates, even stone wears away given enough time. The materials our ancestors used to record their stories are incredibly delicate. Thousands of years of rain, wind, and geological shifts can erase entire civilizations in a beat. Coastal cities that might have been centers of advanced societies are now underwater. Imagine trying to find evidence of New York City if sea levels rose 300 feet. That's essentially what happened to potential prehistoric civilizations. Göbekli Tepe changed everything archaeologists thought they knew about human development. Before the site was discovered, we believed complex societies emerged after agriculture. Now, we're looking at massive, sophisticated temple complex that predates farming by thousands of years. Genetic research and advanced geological techniques are our new time machines. We're not just digging anymore. We're using DNA, satellite imaging, and complex computer models to reconstruct lost worlds. Archaeologists are basically historical detectives, and right now, they're looking at a crime scene with most of the evidence missing. So what are the stories that are still waiting to be discovered? What incredible achievements, human achievements, have been lost to time, hidden beneath waves, buried under sand, or waiting in some unexplored cave? Written records are the holy grail of historical research. They're the direct testimony of past civilizations. Every major breakthrough in human understanding started with someone being told, "That's impossible." From continental drift to quantum mechanics, science progresses by challenging existing beliefs. But, and this is crucial, challenging beliefs requires more than interesting stories. It requires ironclad, reproducible evidence that can withstand the most rigorous examination. The most powerful words in science aren't "I know," But let's investigate it. Every unanswered question is a doorway to potential discovery. Göbekli Tepe was once considered impossible. Archaeological sites like these remind us that our current understanding is always incomplete. Today's speculation could become tomorrow's textbook fact.
In a world where the mind spins free, chickens
And here's the golden nugget for today. Humans are fascinating, and as we stand at the crossroads of mystery and understanding, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we've experienced through the shadows of human history. Our exploration hasn't been about providing a single definitive narrative at this point. It's just been a quest of curiosity, a dance between what we know and the vast ocean of what we've yet to discover. From the precision of Göbekli Tepe's ancient stones to the genetic whispers of Denisovin interactions, we've glimpsed something awesome. Human potential is far more expansive than our current textbooks dare to imagine. Think of our ancestors not as primitive beings struggling to survive, but as cosmic innovators, people who understood the universe in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. Their legacy isn't found in grand monuments or preserved scrolls, but in the subtle fragments that challenge our understanding. The Antikythera mechanism, the astronomical alignments of ancient sites, the genetic adaptations that allowed humans to survive in impossible conditions, these are not just artifacts. I kind of like to think of them as love letters from our past, inviting us to reimagine what it means to be human. Science isn't about having all the answers. It's about maintaining that insatiable curiosity and the willingness to look beyond the comfortable boundaries of what we think we know. Each unanswered question is an invitation, a cosmic whisper urging us to keep exploring, keep questioning, and to keep dreaming. Even if this civilization remains a mystery, the fragments left behind remind us of the unknown in our history. Perhaps that's the true magic of historical discovery. It's not about proving a single theory, but about embracing the beautiful complexity of human experience. We are a species of storytellers, of dreamers, of relentless explorers, whether we're charting unknown territories or decoding the mysteries of our own genetic heritage.
fields of green without a sound.
Humanity has always strived for greatness, whether through lost cities hidden beneath ocean waves or by reaching towards the stars above. Our journey of discovery is far from over. We are a species defined not by what we know, but by our endless ability to wonder.
Quantum thoughts in chickens' brains.
What stories are still waiting to be told, I wonder? And what incredible chapters of human history are yet to be discovered? So when you think you know, question that. Our past is not a closed book. It's an open invitation, a reminder that the most exciting discoveries are the ones that make us question everything we thought we knew. And isn't that a humbling lesson to the ego and to humanity at large?
Mist in your mind, just take a look. Feathered friends in cosmic book.
Thank you for tuning in to the nerdiest podcast to date. I just couldn't help myself. If there's any truth to the saying that history repeats itself, well then maybe we're heading into more wonders than none. Until next time, keep being your amazing, chaotic, perfectly imperfect self. And before you go, and depending on your platform, please hit follow or rate or leave a comment or even drop a review. Your support is the fuel for the circus train, and I promise to keep trying to improve. I'm on a mission to prove that even if you think you're a nobody or you're not famous, you can still be someone for somebody. Take care, stay curious, and remember, nobody cares about the chickens, but there's always someone out there that definitely cares about you.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
This show is sponsored by lookchaos.co, www.lechaos.co. Genderless, sustainable, trendy lifestyle.